Welcome back YouTube, KRoad17 here with a brand new F1 2019 video. Today is a little bit more league racing, but this is what I've been waiting for. SF1 kicks off our classic league series with the Austria Grand Prix in the 1972 Lotus. And I was so ecstatic that, finally I was able to take part in this season. I'm ready to go. I love these cars. Everybody knows I love these cars, but our first race of the season, this league runs off of the classic points. We use various cars in different scenarios, mostly pinpointing drivers who have won in these cars around these circuits. So I believe this one was centered around Emerson Fittipaldi, who's actually won with a 1972 Lotus at the Red Bull Ring, which it was a very different name back in the 70s. But this was the first round of the classic season. As you can see, we're getting a little fun, or we're having a little fun with price tag here. We're currently on an out lap, but I'm gonna run with this because it just goes to show, like, these cars, it is all about the driver capability. You don't have any of that ERS, you don't have DRS, none of those driver aids that help you pass certain cars. This is strictly driver skill and how well you manage the car, your driving, your consistent pace, and the fuel. You do have the ability to play with the fuel, as you guys can see at the bottom right, but we're going to dive into it and set our first qualifying lap of this brand new series. It's going to be amazing. Follow it. I can't wait for all these races. Currently up on Sector 2, but this is only our first lap. There was only 9 guys who were able to show up at this race. A little bit of low numbers, but I beg you that it is still super fun to watch these races, to actually take part in these races. Heck, if you guys want to take part in these races, sign up. I mean, it's very easy to sign up. We love having new guys jump in. I absolutely love it. Jono sets the quickest time so far of this session, but we crossed the line with a 126.1. Could have pushed for better. Didn't happen. This is actually from earlier. I made a mistake in editing, but as you can see, we are currently 5th. Price tag was leading, but Jono, as we saw, actually jumped up to the top. But as we go for our last qualifying run, can we crack the top 5? We're pushing everything we can. Currently, Neglects has retired from the session. We are down in Sector 1, so that is not a good sign. These cars are very hard to make any gains. You have to really decide whether you're going to push the car and go for it, or completely lose all of your time with just one simple mistake, because these cars, especially the 72 Lotus, takes forever to gear up. But as you can see, I'm not having very much confidence. I'm already still half a second down on my time, and I think I decided that enough was enough. Qualifying is almost over. Currently P7. We can do what we can do in the race. We're gonna dive into the pits and have it be that, but Jono again sets the quickest time of the campaign. So as you guys can see, we're just gonna pull it into the pits. These cars are so gear heavy on the back. You give it the gas and they will spit out, even with those big rear gripping tires. I mean, these cars, they have what it counts when it comes not horsepower, I would say torque. As you guys see, Giano grabs the top position, followed by Clutchy, Price Tag, who gets a 5 grid penalty. Tom 4th, Evil 5th, Brother Goat 6th, myself 7th, Neglects 8th, and Jezza gets 9th, who was disqualified. But guys, I made a bit of a mistake. I was so nervous of the fact that there was rain with this car in Austria that I forgot to record the opening session of this race. So I'm actually going to show you a bit of the highlights of how crazy the beginning of this race was. I can't explain to you driving this car in the wet. As you guys can see, I bogged down completely. Yes, that was me in the back. I go completely back to the back of the pack as Tom gets knocked into the wall by somebody. I don't know what happened, but I did see it in front of me on my onboard. It was crazy. And these guys still getting used to this car in the wet. Jezza gets spun off. That allows me to open the door to Neglects, but as you guys see, everybody's having trouble there because another car's spinning. I mean, if you guys want ultimate fun in Formula 1 racing, especially league racing, this is where it's at. It's all back and forth. But here we are, just trying to gain any grasp we can with the wet weather. It was a nightmare. But here we are. I think that was Brother Goat, or that was Price Tag right on my gearbox. Definitely carrying more speed than I could maintain. So I believe that he ultimately opens the door and gets around me. That was actually Jezza who got around me. Good, GG to him. Gets around me, followed by Price Tag, I believe, or that's Brother Goat following right through. But here we are. I actually take a complete spin, do a 360 because the tires were a little overheated. I was still learning this track, and it was like as soon as I learned the track, the weather improved. But last couple of laps of the rain, I was actually very happy that Jeff was calling for it to dry up. So just following on board here, as we actually dove into the pits, came out on the dries, and it was a whole nother game. This car felt manageable, it felt fun, but as you guys can see, I was so far behind. SF1 Evil actually retired the car because he didn't want to ruin anybody else's race, and I mean, that's a very honorable thing to do. He could not control the car. Price Tag sets the quickest time so far because he dove for the drives a lot earlier than me as I go really late into that corner. But as the track starts really drying out, Brother Goat sets the quickest time there. The times are flying in. I'm actually currently down in sector 1, but it's because I pitted. But I mean, guys, I was a bit nervous, and I was a bit excited that the track was drying out. I didn't know if it was time to actually plant my foot and push. I mean, I think that was ultimately my downfall, as I lost a lot of time just, trying to wait for the track to be completely dry. But I mean, it happens. You want to gain points, so in classics, the way SF1 scores it, everybody from 10th to 8th scores points because they follow the 2003 to 2009 point system, I believe. So, I mean, it goes 10 to 8 to 6 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and fastest lap being that person gets an extra point. But lap 11 of the Grand Prix here, just pushing on, seeing what we can do. The clouds are starting to dissipate. Track is getting a little drier. It's starting to get a little faster. Just showing you some of this footage because ultimately I had a very, very quiet race. But it's still fun. I'm running in 7th. I'm in the points, so the best thing I could do is just push and push. Try to bring the car home. Grab those 2 points. Maybe go for the fastest lap. Set the green sector 1 there, so it's not ultimately that bad. You can never know in league racing. Somebody ahead of you could mess up and you could gain that place. But I mean, we were, I think, currently 40 seconds behind Brother Goat because I actually pitted once for dries and spun the car on the home stretch, tagged the wall, bent my wing, and actually had to go in and pit again for the dries and come back out. So that's currently where we're at. We're pretty much dead last, but trying to press on. Sector 2 green, not too bad. If you guys are interested in the Classic League or any league in SF1, please drop me a comment or a personal message. I'll get you guys in touch with them. They're a great group, as well as BRL. If you guys are interested in them, they are Americans, so if you guys live anywhere around the American side, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, anywhere around there, and the time zone in the Europe League seemed to be a little hard to fit into your life, trust me, I understand that. Get in contact with me. I'll let you guys get in contact with them. Both amazing leagues, but this, I mean, they actually had a season 1 last season, which I helped maintain and run, and I was so disappointed that I could not take part. But this year we shifted a couple things around. We shifted the time around, so these guys could allow me to take part in it, and I'm forever grateful because this is probably my favorite thing that the league does. But here we are, lap 34 of 36 coming up, just about ready to cross the finish line. Lap 35, we are lap down, so I'm going to show you guys this lap entire. It is bright and sunny, and this car felt way, way different than it did at the beginning of the race, obviously because it was rain. But even in qualifying, the car didn't feel this good. The car felt great. Jono picks up the first win of the season, and I know he picked up the fastest lap. So GG to him. He's got 11 points out of this race. So he's currently winning the championship. This championship is 12 rounds with 12 different classic cars from this game, all different tracks, all different scenarios. Like I said earlier, centered around drivers who picked up wins in certain cars. So for this round, it was the 1972 Emerson Fittipaldi win at the Austrian Grand Prix. Back then, it was not the Red Bull Ring, but it was, or it is now. So, I mean, what can you do? It's 2019, but we are, throwing a little bit of honor to him renting this car. But here we go, setting green sectors. I was trying to steal that fastest lap away from Jono, try to get those 3 points at the very end, but ultimately we couldn't do it because I wasn't carrying the speed Jono was. He was amazing this race, so he well deserved it. Here we go, about ready to cross the line, do a little weave, grab those 2 points, and that's our first Classic League race in the bags. So Jono grabs the early lead of the Classic Championship, but I do know that he is going to be missing for 1 or 2 races as he is on holiday. So it's going to be very interesting. Another championship rival, actually 2 of them, weren't able to show for this race. So it's going to get very, very interesting as this season progresses. But Jono, good job to him. I mean, classic race. But Jono grabs the first win of the season, followed by Price Tag. Kelechi grabs 3rd. Neglects 4th, good job for him. Jezza 5th, Brother Goat 6th, myself 7th, Evil retired, and Tom, unfortunately, DNF. But if you like this video, hit subscribe. I'll put a link in the description for the SF1 if you guys want to join them. But till the further week of next Wednesday, I'm going to leave you guys with the highlights of this Austria awesome classic race. Cheers, guys. I will see you on the next video.
Lotus.